All right, I think everything looks good. The quality's good, right? Right? I think we're ready. Hello, welcome to my new channel. I guess. My name is Leire. Leire is a weird name, yes. I really hope I have the courage to upload this. This is my first video. I want you to be able to see my shirt because it's so cool. This is my Lainey t-shirt. Look at that. This has to be my favorite t-shirt. Look at it. Today we're here to tell a story. Wow! This is gonna be a long story time. Stop it. Stop it. Sorry. I'm over here with my tea. I recommend you do the same. You can watch this while you eat. That's a pretty good actually, because yep, got away. Everyone meet my cat. A lot of shit happened, okay? I'm gonna start by doing a little bit of like a cover story of like where we were, what we were doing. My best friend and I, Mia, and me were from Barcelona, and we decided to go to New Zealand. I'm not gonna get into detail. We just decided to do it. We had never left home before, like for such a long time, and on our own, nah. We wanted to go to Australia. That didn't work out. So we were like, New Zealand. Best decision I've ever taken in my life, and I can't believe it's over. So this starts at Mount Maunganui. You know New Zealand, it's two islands, north and south. We were in the North Island. We went to Mount Maunganui a week before New Year's. Mount Maunganui is a little town with a big mountain. We were out of a job for about a month and a half. I had $0, zero in my account. We stayed at a campsite because it was the cheapest thing we could find. We couldn't afford housing. We couldn't afford a roof over our heads. So we were staying at a campsite. It was amazing. Well, the only thing is that it rained too much, which sucked ass. I fell in love with Mount Maunganui. It's all surf vibes, all the places surf inspired. We were surviving on Mia's account. So we were actively looking for jobs every single damn day. Hey, it's the next day. I left out a major detail. A few days before New Year's, we actually got a call from a job. And it was this guy. He told us that we could start working in the middle of January. We mentioned our situation with accommodation and everything, and he was like, our accommodation is available from like the 7th on, so you can get here that day. That helps us out massively. He said, Monday, you're gonna have a call from me and we can talk about how you get here, when do you get here. Monday, we're waiting, nothing. Tuesday, nothing. We started getting worried because we were depending on that job. I started calling him, and it didn't say that the phone was disconnected. It just said that it was offline, and it kept saying that for over a week. So we started thinking that it was a scam. And after not hearing from this guy for 2 weeks, he called us January 14th, like, yo, when are you coming? I'm sorry, sir. We're not gonna make it. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Since we thought we were only gonna stay in Mount for the first week of January, that's how long we booked the campground for. So when we tried to extend our stay, it was fully booked. So we didn't have a place to stay. By that point, we started looking at Airbnb and we found this crazy cheap place. It was $140 a week, which if you know New Zealand, that is insane. We were paying $700 to stay a week in a hotel in Wellington. You're gonna think, how is it that cheap? It was in the middle of nowhere. We had to walk 30 minutes just to get to the main road. And from that main road, it took 45 minutes to drive to the nearest town. We don't have a driver's license yet, and we don't have a car. So we had to walk and then try to get an Uber, which we had to wait for minimum an hour every time we wanted to go get groceries, any necessity. We were trapped there, so all we could do was look for jobs 24/7. And one day we get a phone call from this guy named Bobby. Obviously not his real name, but Bobby plays a pretty important role in this story. So Bobby was gonna be our boss. The job was actually in the South Island. We were in the North Island. The job was in the South. I had to call my mama and be like, hey, I need some cash. So we FaceTime Bobby, explained to us what the job was, and it was housekeeping.
What?
And waitressing. It was in a pub, and it was hotel rooms, apartments, and a pub. So we were gonna do housekeeping in the mornings and waitressing in the afternoons. It was like $25 an hour. $25 an hour is crazy. The guy seemed nice, the place looked nice, and it was in a town also in the middle of nowhere. And we looked it up, and it was gorgeous. And they had accommodation included. Well, not included, you had to pay for it, but it was an actual house. Like, we lived in a house by ourselves. That's insane. We couldn't miss the opportunity. So, we go to Auckland. On January 20th, we took a plane and we flew to Queenstown, where we were gonna get picked up. Because is a town in the middle of the South Island desert. And it was a 3-hour drive. Then, on the morning of the 21st, this is where we introduce Karen. Welcome to the story, Karen. She fits the description of Karen point by point. The hair, the clothes, the personality, the voice, the tone of her voice. Karen is Bobby's wife, and they run the whole thing together. Karen comes and picks us up in Queenstown. We're driving, getting to know each other. Everything looked great. She was nice. We were having some conversations. We made a few stops along the way. We stopped in this cute ass fruit store, and we stopped at a grocery store. I'm not gonna have the most documentary proof. I'm pretty sure I lost all my videos and photos from New Zealand. My phone broke, and I thought iCloud was uploading them to the cloud. Apparently it wasn't. So that sucks. And then we get to the population is around 150 people. It's all grandpas and grandmas. There's no youth. There's a little grocery store, and the nearest supermarket is an hour away. And for the first week, we were gonna be staying at the hotel. We were replacing 2 girls, but they hadn't left yet. While we were driving, we asked Karen, do you know when do we start working? Because I think we got there on a Friday. She was like, probably Monday, if not Tuesday. Great, we have time to get adjusted. I start to get sick. Fuck that. I got a weird cold, so I think my hay fever got so bad that I got sick. We weren't planning on starting for like a day or 2, so we got comfy in the room, and then all of a sudden they knock on our door. Yeah, we need you on the floor right now, so if you could, like, here's your t-shirt, and we need you immediately. What? It was packed. In those 2 months that we worked there, that was one of the craziest days. It was like Easter, a public holiday. Where are all these people coming from? Like, this town has a population of 100 people. We didn't have a chance to look at the menu. It was names we had never heard before. Can you tell me what the fuck a chicken schnitzel is? I'm sorry, I'm from Spain. I've never heard schnitzel. What is a schnitzel? A rusty veggie stack. What is that? They were asking us about beers, about wines. What's the best wine you have? What beer do you recommend? I was like, dude, you've been here longer than I have. Do you know? Then I don't know either. I hate that. My anxiety. And their accent is just, imagine New Zealand is the US, is the Texas of New Zealand. Their accent is thick, closed. I had never heard that accent before and I couldn't understand flap. The next day we started housekeeping. Housekeeping sucked butt cheeks, obviously. So the second day, when we're done with our night shift, we did a party karaoke kind of thing. We all got to know each other. I had to go to work. Mia didn't. So she was sleeping in. I was clocking in for my morning shift. And all of a sudden they're like, didn't you see the message last night? What message? Oh, you have to move out of the hotel room this morning. Yeah, you had to like leave the hotel before your morning shift, which starts at 9 a.m. And it's 9 a.m. now. They texted us in this app that we didn't know how it worked, so we didn't see it. Didn't you see the text last night? Like, no. Did we answer? Did we say anything? Was I out of the room before 9 o'clock? No. I literally had to wake Mia up and be like, yo, get out of bed immediately. We had to pack all of her shit, shove it in the back of a fucking truck, and leave the hotel. She was pissed. We actually had to move in with our bosses. Like, we had to live in their house. They didn't warn us that we had to move into our boss's house. Karen just started being a little mean witch. You could say that. Yeah. We were there for 2 nights. I woke up in the morning and Bobby and Karen were there. Mia wasn't. Me by myself? What? No. I say good morning. Karen looks at me and ignores the shit out of me. Like I didn't say a word. She looks at me, she keeps brooming or whatever the fuck. It's like, okay, that's a little rude. And then I was talking to Mia and she was like, yeah, no, she didn't say good morning to me either. Like, she just kind of looked at me weird and I was like, yeah, why? When you have guests in your home and they say good morning to you, you say good morning, don't you? Mia had to work, but I didn't, which was awkward because I'm not gonna stay in this house with Bobby. No, I'm leaving. Bye. I decided to take a bike ride. I biked for like 4 or 5 hours. It was fucking insane. I cried. The view was so beautiful. Tears fell down from my eyes. It was insane. 1, 2, 3, go! The next point of the story, that's when we actually moved into the house. I wish I could live in that house, in that town. Oh, picture the movie type neighborhood from the 1980s with all of these 1-story houses, all different beautiful colors, those big main roads, and it's just like, I felt like a character in the Goonies. We each had our own room. Wow, what a crazy experience. When you're traveling, when you're backpacking with someone, privacy and personal space, they fly out of existence. Outside of my bedroom window, I had a tree that made plums. Dude, I made jam. I knitted in the front porch. My core grandma just... The happiest time of my life mixed with the worst time of my life. We were working 40 hours a week. There was a week where I worked 50 hours. There was this one day, 9 a.m., I was at work. At 4 p.m., I finished my morning shift. And at 5, I had to be back on again. I had half an hour to sit down in a 12-hour shift. If you work in housekeeping for 6 hours, it's like you're in a gym for 6 hours. You're picking up heavy bags of linen. You're picking up mattresses so you can shove the fucking sheet underneath, and then the second sheet, then pick it up again, and then you squat and you're vacuuming a carpet, you're scrubbing walls, toilets, the shower floors again and again and again. And I think the speed that they made us work at was just inhuman. And they would get angry at the tiniest little thing. So I'm editing right now. I know I sound like a dumbass. A lot of people work that hard every day of their lives. The only thing that makes me pissed off about all the work that we put is that we weren't appreciated for it. Nobody was thankful or grateful for our help at any moment. Like, you're gonna understand where I'm coming from at the end of the video. It was just the way we were treated. What's next? The rumors. 2 weeks in, we started hearing all the rumors about our bosses, this place, very small town. There's gonna be a lot of gossip. And I heard this one story in particular that shocked the guts out of me. Apparently, it's karaoke night at the pub. Bobby is singing into the mic, having a good time. Then this kid comes and screams into the mic. He's a teenager. What do you expect? Bobby did not think that was okay. He grabbed him aggressively, started screaming at him, took him outside, and punched him in the face. Bobby was drunk, obviously. Then one day we go to the grocery store. We're talking to the lady, you know, because it's a small town, everyone knows each other. We're new. She's asking, where are you from? Where are you staying? What are you doing here? We're like, yeah, we're working at the pub, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, I actually worked there once. I lasted 2 weeks and I quit. It was that horrible. And I never received my last paycheck. She had to go after them again and again. They paid her for half of it and she's still missing money from them. And then we hear another thing about this girl that used to work there as well. She was fired in the middle of everybody at the pub. She was the last to leave the morning shift, the first to clock in the afternoon shift, and when it was time to leave, she wasn't the first one to leave. So she was pissed about that. It's understandable. She didn't handle it the best way though. She confronted Bobby in the middle of the pub. Apparently a whole fight happened and they fired her. I fucking hate drama. We're gonna stay here for a bit, we're gonna make a bit of money, and then we're just gonna flunk the fuck out and we're gonna run away. Okay? Alright, we're now gonna move on to the next little part. Our house. At first, we were roommates with 2 guys. We were living with Joe and Brian. Joe moved out, and then what do you know? Me and Ryan start dating each other. Come say hello. Look. Hello. They start dating. I thought it was such a good thing. I didn't know it was gonna fucking suck for me. Me and I started drifting away a little bit. None of us had ever been in a relationship. I was super, super happy for her. You do your thing. It's great. Good for you. Me and I were hanging out once a week. Sometimes not even that. They started spending 24/7 together. And from there on, all you could hear in the house is them talking, them laughing, them doing things. All of the free time that I had, I was by myself. It started to suck a little bit because I started feeling very, very, very lonely. And then Madison, we're gonna call her Madison. 3 weeks, a month in, about, Madison joined us. Madison is the closest friend we made in New Zealand. Madison was our bestie. Love her to death. She moved into the house and started working with us. So we started getting to know her. When Madison arrived, about a week in, she had something with the bartender guy. And Mia was with Brian. Brian works in the kitchen. Sorry, I didn't say that. We're gonna call the bartender guy Sean. And I was vibing. I was connecting with nature. I was fucking lonely. My best friend has someone. My other roommate also has someone. So everyone in the house is in a relationship but me. If it's not shoved in my face, I don't care. But when it's shoved in my face like that, like Ryan's room and my room and Mia's room and my room are all maybe 4-5 feet away from each other. Mia's room and my room, we share a wall. Ryan's room is outside. Our windows are like 5 feet apart. I can hear everything. It was making me very uncomfortable. So I just kept politely asking them to please be quiet. It was a shitty situation. We're all living in the same house. They're in a relationship. Obviously they're gonna do stuff. Just don't make me listen to it. Then one morning, it was my day off. It was like 11 a.m. and I go to make myself some tea and breakfast. And I listened to them doing stuff in the shower. They knew I was home. And I got really, really pissed at that. I feel disrespected. I left the house. I went by the lake and I sat by the lake. It was disgusting. About work, we were starting to catch up on stuff. Disclaimer, we had no housekeeping experience. And then all of a sudden they just flipped the fucking switch. So one day we just walked into work and the bosses are there, they're sitting down. The head of housekeeping department was also there. Her name is Pamela. They were like, we came up with a new system and we're gonna start doing things differently. Like, what? We had all of these apps on our phone, and one of the apps was like the tasks that you had to do for that day. In the morning, we had pub cleaning, and then we moved on to hotel rooms, and then we went to apartments. There's this new like whole task list in the morning. If you started here and then you went there, then that's not how you're gonna do it anymore. They made all of these new rules. And Pamela didn't like them. So what would she do? Do things her way. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing stuff my way. One day we would do things one way because Karen and Bobby were there. The next day, Pamela would be there. So we had to do things the way she liked to do them. So it started being the biggest mess. And also at the same time, Mia and I had to teach Madison, wow, how to do all of these things. It just felt like everything we did was wrong. Then Karen started being a fucking and it all started with Mia. Karen was never the type of person that when you clocked in the morning and said good morning, she wouldn't say it back. This one day, Mia clocked in for her afternoon shift at the pub. It was 5. The pub was dead. There was nobody. Mia was by the bar talking to Sean for about 5 minutes, and it was about work. She was asking him like, how many reservations do we have? Do you want me to... This is the other devil. Come meet him. Oi, he's such a fat bitch. Like, do you want me to stay at the computer? Do you want me to be on the floor? And all of a sudden, Karen pops from behind. What are you doing? I don't pay you to be talking to your coworkers. I don't pay you to waste time. Started like screaming at her. You're wasting company time. Karen was the type of person that if you saw her walking down the street, you wouldn't cross to the other side. You would literally jump a fence and trespass into someone's house just to hide from her. You knew that as soon as she was coming towards you, you're gonna get yelled at because of something. One morning, I came into work. We had a rowing team of 56 teenagers, adolescents, teenagers, 56 staying at the hotel for 10 days. It was a college. We were so tired already. I would wake up in the morning and get out of bed and I would fall back. That's how bad the pain was. There's not enough beds in the whole fucking town for them to sleep at, bro. Every morning they would have a breakfast buffet. Every afternoon they would have a dinner buffet. Not only we had to take care of all the customers, We also had to feed 60 teenagers, pick up after all of their and we had to wash all of their dishes. Getting the rooms ready was a fucking challenge. Imagine making one bed. Now imagine doing that 38 times every morning. If we had a full house, we had to make 38 beds. That day, we had to add a bed into every single apartment. So it wasn't 38 beds, it was like 50 beds.
I'm Allison Mashaka, and you're watching Disney Channel.
They just scheduled Madison and I, and Bobby and Karen went out of town. The housekeeping head was on her day off, and it was only the two of us. Also, to not say that those kids' rooms, when we walked into those rooms, we didn't have space to walk. That's how much crap there was everywhere. You had to jump obstacles. It was like a race. And this is where the biggest story comes in my opinion, because that one was directed at me. It was one of the scariest moments of my life.
Uh-oh.
It was in those 10 days that the rowing team was staying over. I was still sick, and I had already gone to a doctor. This is a town in the middle of nowhere. The nearest doctor is an hour away. Someone has to drive me there. Everyone works all day. I also forgot to say, I had been working, being sick for over a month now. I was working 45 hours weekly. I had to bring rolls of toilet paper with me everywhere. I constantly had to blow my nose. I constantly had to cough. I was coughing all day. Pamela was like, we need to get you to a doctor. She was right. I had to get it checked out because it wasn't normal that it wasn't going away. So I went to the doctor, and he basically told me that I had bronchitis. I had been working 50 hours a week with bronchitis. He literally just gave me some antibiotics that barely did anything. One morning, I was so tired, I didn't get out of bed until 5 minutes before I had to leave for work, so I didn't eat breakfast. I get to work, we worked for like 3 hours. I was hungry because I had been working hard physically. It was about 12 p.m. at that point, a.m. It was midday, and at the breakfast buffet, there's cereals for the rowing team. I guess it doesn't matter if I literally eat a tiny little bowl of cereal, because I work at a fucking pub. I work at a restaurant. It's not like we haven't eaten anything from here before. Sometimes we'll work in the afternoons and we're hungry because it's dinner time. We ask the kitchen and they make us fries. We would make coffees every morning. We were having our break. We could have a coffee and make ourselves a coffee with their coffee and their milk. Grab some juice. At the end of every shift, we would have a drink included. So I did not think it was gonna be a big deal at all. It's not gonna matter if I take like 5 spoonfuls of Cocoa Puffs. It was Cocoa Puffs. It was air. I'm not gonna eat in the next 4 hours probably, and I have no food with me. I hadn't seen any of the bosses all morning. That's why I didn't ask anybody, because there wasn't anyone there. So I'm eating the cereal, and who walks in but Karen? And I got this feeling that something horrible was about to happen. I got a gut feeling that was screaming to my brain, get out. Mia hates her guts. Mia sees her walk in. She's like, should we finish our break outside? I was like, yes, let's leave. Since I didn't ask for the cereal, I was just like, I actually prefer her not knowing about it. She's gonna see it. She's gonna take it as an opportunity to let some of that rage she has and flop it onto me. What did I do? I think I left the bowl in a little corner. I was walking outside and I was like, shit, I can leave that there because she's gonna see that there. So let me just grab it really quick and pop it by the kitchen. Obviously, somehow she saw it. I walk into the kitchen and both and Bobby are there. I don't want anyone to see me, but obviously they were right there. Karen looks at me. So, Leire, because they can't pronounce my name right. Whereabouts did those Cocoa Puffs come from? Here we go. Get ready to be screamed at. So, Leire. I was like, I don't exist. From the box. She's like, the box? In our pantry? The box right there? Our box of cereal? Yeah. That same one. Yup. You can't do that. Who gave you permission to grab cereal that we own? She started getting very aggressive, and Bobby was right next to her. He was kind of like backing her up, but telling her to calm down a little bit. At one point, she insulted me, but I didn't hear what she said. She said one word, and I know it was an insult because even Bobby was like, Karen, calm down. Like, you can't talk to her like that. I'm your employee. You can't insult me. But then he looks at me and he's like, yeah, we can actually call the police on you right now and get you deported. You are stealing from us right now. Sorry, I said I'm sorry. We throw out pounds of food. It's paid for. I'm like, yeah, this is paid for as well. I grabbed it from the cereal that is supposed to be for the rowing team. What else can I say? Frankly, if you call the police right now and tell them what just happened, they're gonna spit in your face through the phone. I went straight to Mia and told her everything that just happened. My boss insulted me, threatened me. They called me a thief, and that they could get me deported and call the police. 'Cause I ate some Cocoa Puffs. Dude, I don't know, you can deduct it from my pay. Just deduct the 5 cents. She was laughing. She was like, dude, they're insane. Shake it out. I was like shaking. I just absorbed all of that fucking horrible bad energy in my chest. From then, we started actively looking for jobs anywhere in the area. Frustratingly, just like scrolling every day, refreshing the job page, because at one point I had applied for all the jobs available. So we're gonna leave it here right now. I started at 1 o'clock and it's 3 and I have to go eat. And there's obviously gonna be a part 2. The biggest bomb hasn't happened yet. I'll talk about that in the next video. All right, y'all, this is the outro for this video. Thank you so much for watching. This is my first YouTube video, so if you enjoyed it, like it and subscribe. And part 2 will be up soon. It has the rest of all the complications and the big explosion at the end, so you don't want to miss that. All this story is leading towards that part. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next video, and bye. Bye. Goodbye.